Feels so damn good. I got a boner. On the Go Show released a new episode today. Gonna listen to it with my boner. My boner.
I'm looking forward to seeing Sinners this weekend. I'm really, really anxious to see this Ryan Coogler's work. I'm prioritizing. I'm telling everybody, man, support this guy, man.
I'm hearing so many good things about this movie. Like, so many early reviews, just like across the board, like phenomenal film, which is great, but it's also kind of scary because you hype yourself up and then you have higher expectations.
Yeah, but if it was anybody else, I probably would say I agree with you, but it's Ryan Coogler, so I have a little bit more hope.
He does have a good track record, yes.
This is his project. There's no studio hands getting involved like he did with Black Panther. Like, there's no studio hands with that. There's Wakanda Forever was the only movie that I did not like.
Yeah, it was basically a eulogy, right? It was a eulogy movie for Chadwick Boseman.
It was a eulogy film, and also as well studio heads. Studio heads got involved. You cannot make me believe that he wanted to put Ironheart in this movie. I know he had no plans on doing that.
That's too shoehorny.
Yeah, that's Marvel. That was all Marvel. Julia Dreyfus. Come on, man.
Yeah, well, it was Ironheart and then Okoye and them with the Iron Man suits as well. It was kind of cool, and I understand it's from the comics, but it did feel like a lot.
Like, if you wanted to add like one scene, I'm okay, cool. You want to add a scene in there, but to just shoehorn her in the movie, I just felt like that was something that was not his idea. I think that was Marvel's idea. It was like, hey, we got to push these TV shows that's coming out.
Yep.
So,
and they still haven't even made the Ironheart show.
They still haven't made it.
I think they have filmed it now, but I mean, it still took them a long time. Like, when did Wakanda Forever come out, James? Like 2022, 2023? I
think 2022, yeah.
So that's a long time. That's a long time to set up a character we haven't seen since.
Exactly, and I just thought it was a waste. Julia Dreyfus served no purpose in that film. The tone was totally different every time she popped on the screen.
Right.
Every time she popped on the screen.
Right, and they were using her to set up the Thunderbolts movie. But again, we're just now getting the Thunderbolts movie, so
like, you're using Black Panther as a setup, and at the same time trying to give respects to Chadwick Boseman.
And then you set up baby Black Panther. I agree. There was a lot going on in that film, especially towards the end.
So that's why I don't really pin this much on him. I don't pin that much on him because I feel like that was on him. I just feel like that was more studio involvement. But yeah, man, dude, he doesn't put out a lot of bad films. He only had 5 films. Fruitvale Station was his first film, and then Creed was his second film. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, Creed, then Black Panther, then Wakanda Forever, and then
the other 2 Creeds.
The other 2 Creeds he produced.
Oh,
he just produced those movies. The second Creed was done by those I want to say those twin, not the twin brother, but one of the twin brothers. No, it was done by a different director. I'm sorry, it wasn't the twin brothers. It was another director. But but he did produce it. Ryan Coogler, and then the third one, of course, was directed by Michael B. Jordan. So, he produced that one too as well. What I like about this film too as well, he signed a deal with Warner Brothers where after 25 years, it's his film.
Oh, okay. He did one of those.
Yeah, he did one of those things. So they can't take his film away from it's his film.
For 25 years? Or
after 25 years. After 25
years.
It is completely his. And also too, he put up some money on this movie as well. Of his own money. I just admire Ryan Coogler, man. He did this video where he was showing Kodak. It was like Kodak film. And he was showing what movie to see the format in. Because for people that might not know that stuff, it's cool to teach them that. And I just thought that was just so brilliant.
Oh yeah, that sets him apart from other filmmakers. I don't know. Whenever a filmmaker really like talks and plans out the formatting of the film, like they care about it. Quentin Tarantino's a big guy about that, right? Because I think he does all his stuff on tape still.
Oh yeah, it was cool to see, man. Like you got to watch it. Like if you got some time, cut out some time to watch it. It's on Kodak. I think Kodak on YouTube because I'm subscribed to Kodak Film, and you can tell the guys just excited. And you just once you watch it, you feel like you're in class. You feel like you're in college.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, you feel like you're in college. You talk about the Super 8 film. Talks about all these different formats of film. Yeah. So that way, even the person that does not know anything about film they can enjoy it. And like, hey, I want to see it in this format because Ryan Coogler said see it in this different format.
That's also good for him because you can tell he has a passion for these things.
Oh, he's passionate, man. That's why I love this guy. Peele. What's his name?
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele. I like him too. I wasn't too crazy about Nope, but I still liked it. I like him too, man.
Yeah, he's doing good too. I think he's got another movie coming out soon, or he's producing it. He hasn't directed anything since Nope, I don't think.
Well, he got a movie coming out with Marlon Wayans. And
him.
Yeah, him. And that was the CinemaCon. They talked about it. They didn't show anything for it, but they talked about it.
It sounds really cool. Or interesting, I'd say. I don't know about cool. It sounds kind of sinister.
Yeah. So it sounds very interesting. And I do like Marlon Wayans in the serious roles because he's done serious roles before.
Oh, yeah.
But man, I'm definitely excited to see Sinners. I am so excited. Because I know some people were talking about, because he said his inspirations were The Thing and John Carpenter's Thing and From Dusk Till Dawn.
I can see that entirely. Like from the trailer, that tracks.
Mm-hmm. It definitely tracks. They got the brothers and the club.
People are turning.
Yep. And it kind of takes place probably in like an isolated spot.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Not a lot of sets. Again, it looks like kind of like one or two set pieces, maybe three.
Yep. And you don't know who's who. Like, oh man, is this guy a vampire? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's that type of deal. So that also creates that type of tension too as well. Because I went back and watched From Dusk Till Dawn. And it's one of my favorite movies.
Was that Robert Rodriguez?
Yeah, Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And it was before he started going crazy with a lot of his movies. It's two different films. I don't know if you ever saw it before.
No, I haven't. Doesn't it have like 2 or 3 sequels too?
Yeah, it has 2 or 3 sequels. But that he didn't do those. But at the time when I was a kid, when I saw it at the movie theater, which I wasn't supposed to, my dad took me at that time. How can I describe this film? How can I describe it to a person that has not seen this film?
It's a vampire movie. I know that much.
But it's so the first half of the film, because Quentin Tarantino, he's the one that wrote the script. And Robert Rodriguez, he's the one that, that directed it. These two brothers, they're killers. One, Quentin Tarantino, is a lot more crazy than the other one, as we are, of course.
Right.
And it's a lot of disgusting stuff, man, that goes on in that first half. But there's also a little bit of a story there. And once you get an hour into the film, you're thinking like, man, are we seeing the same film? And then after that, once they get to the club, it completely changes on the axis and it becomes just something totally different. There's a silly ass vampire film. A silly, horrible visual vampire film.
Oh.
And it's crazy how that movie goes. And I don't know how you feel about Quentin Tarantino.
You know what? I like his stuff. I don't think I have negative opinions on Quentin Tarantino. His movies anyway. I don't know about other things he's wrote for. I've enjoyed his other films. Okay, so I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, and we both agreed on the same thing because he saw a screening of it when it first came out. Mm-hmm. He wrote it. He used to write for different films and stuff like that in the newspaper. So he got to see the screenings. Yeah, he got to see the screenings. And Quentin Tarantino has this thing where he kind of go a little bit too far. And it could be, he always has like that one disgusting scene in each film. And it was either one or two disgusting scenes. And this one in particular, he had one scene where in From Dusk Till Dawn, they kidnapped this woman that was in the truck. And they're using her as a hostage. And Quentin Tarantino is this sick dude, man. He's talking to himself. He's mentally ill. And he just brutally rapes this woman and kills her in the room. And like my homeboy the guy was telling me, people were like kind of giggling a little bit at the scene because it plays itself as trying to be funny, but it's clearly not funny. And to hear people kind of giggle a little bit, it's like, it is very unsettling. That whole first half of that movie is very unsettling. And they run into this family too with Juliette Lewis. And she's like supposed to be like 16 or 17 years old. And in his mind, he heard, oh, do you want to eat my you know what? And she never even said that. And it's just like, man, sometimes Quentin Tarantino has that mind and he can kind of go a little bit too far in a lot of stuff that he does. Especially those earlier films. I would think maybe his writing has evolved since, what was it, 96? Yeah, in the 30 years, hopefully. Yeah, some of it has, some of it hasn't. Some of it hasn't aged good. I didn't like
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I liked that film, but I didn't like what he did with Bruce Lee. I thought that was a little bit distasteful.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like that. Yeah, a lot of people have problems with that. Also, it's weird because like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it's a long movie, but it also feels like not a lot happens. It's like by the time things kick off, it's the end of the movie, and you're like, oh, that's the movie.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because that's exactly how this movie is. Obviously, Robert Rodriguez took his cue from Quentin Tarantino. Obviously, they're friends and stuff like that. So he took his
came
cue
up together.
Yeah, so he took his cue from him. There's just so much in this film, man. There's something there in that first half, but once you get to that second half, it's a rough watch. It's not a rough watch. It's just silly fun. It really is something, and it was fun. It was fun time. It was fun. And George Clooney's good in it, by the way. He's really good. He's really committed to the role.
It's just Quentin Tarantino. I think Quentin Tarantino as an actor is weirder than him as a filmmaker.
Oh yeah, always. I've always thought Quentin Tarantino was real. Like, would you be shocked if something came out about Quentin Tarantino?
No, he's got a huge foot fetish.
Yeah, and if you watch,
not that people with foot fetishes are bad.
Yeah,
but...
the foot fetish in this movie and From Dusk Till Dawn. Selma Hayek was on the table and give him a lap dance, and he got her feet in his mouth.
In all his movies, there is a foot directly in front of the screen at one point.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, when old girl got in Brad Pitt's car.
Yeah, she got the dirty feet.
She got the dirty feet.
Yeah.
Like, no, every freaking film. Like, okay, no, you're right. Every fetishes are fine. But I feel like in 2025, it's a little bit different.
When you put it blatantly in your writing as much as he does, it's kind of a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of a lot. That's when you kind of got a problem. So, yeah, if you get a chance, watch it. I don't know what you can find it on, probably Tubi. It might not be your favorite. It might not be your flavor. And if you can get past that first half, my friend, he did not like that scene at all, man. He did not like that scene when the woman got raped and people were giggling in the theater.
No, that's a hard scene. I think that's a hard scene at any time.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, y'all getting at this? It's not
Some
funny.
people are weird, man. Some people, it's... So, I guess when it's on screen, you can differentiate. Like, that's not real life. So it's, that's how you can kind of get around it.
Well, I think if you see the scene set up, then maybe you probably might understand. I've seen that scene a million times. I still don't understand. But I feel like if you see the scene, then you probably like, okay, I kind of get it. I still don't think it's funny, but yeah, I kind of get it. But that's Quentin Tarantino, man. He always has that one scene in each film that kind of goes a little bit too far. It just never seems to feel. He goes right on the edge, and just when you think he's doing good, he does that one scene where you're like, God damn it. You were doing so good. You just did this. Like,
come on, Quentin.
The film was getting good, and then you just go a little bit too far, man. Like, come on, it's a little distasteful and disgusting. So, get a chance to watch their film.
On the Go podcast with Jacob and James.
It would truly spice up your life.
This commercial break is brought to you by Blue Origin. Space is a place away from the human race.
Oh, the moon! I will have to tell you, look at the moon!
Because going to space for 11 minutes is fun.
That's amazing.
You too could become an astronaut.
Tamir's in space!
For the small price of $49,099.
Have y'all been to space?
And you too could go to space.
Go to space.
Blue Origin. It will make you appreciate gravity, dirt, and sometimes daisies. Just think, you too could really go to space.
Oh my god! Wow.
Blue Origin.
Take us space! Woo!
The time has come to finally review Sinners. Definitely made some moves over the Easter weekend. Definitely some good moves for original content and rated R films. I think it's almost made its money back, so hopefully this next weekend kind of pushes it over the edge, gets the money back going. But I don't want to spend too much time talking this movie up because if you're anywhere on the internet, you've heard about how great this movie's doing. So James, I want to pass it on to you, and I want to ask you, how did you like Sinners? What did you think about it? Give me good things, bad things. Go ahead.
Well, when I went to the movie theaters and saw it, went to Regal, it was packed, real packed. a different broader spectrum of everybody. It wasn't just black and white, Hispanic, Asian. It was just it was cool to see a different cast of people. Just one race. I love the movie. It was very flushed out, dialogue centric. We knew vampires were in the film, but it didn't take away from the actual film. You know how we talked about From Dusk Till Dawn is pretty much the same. It's kind of the same as that.
It's very similar, yes.
It's similar in as far as two brothers in the club and the vampires, and it taking place in a secluded area. And that's pretty much where the similarities stop at for me. Everything else is just a complete original story. I like the music. The musical's also dope in here. Honestly, the vampire stuff, I really didn't care for that. I mean, the vampire stuff was cool, but you were so enthralled with the first half of the story and the whole story that you really didn't care about the vampires that much.
You're right. They almost took a back seat to their own movie.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I love the music for this film, though. Music is why I take away. Michael B. Jordan was great. For him to be able to play two roles and still be the same person. And he doesn't have a real twin in real life. But he played the role so well that you didn't even think that maybe he is playing maybe he does have a twin. Because he does a good job with the differentiating too. I
saw an interview, or I read an interview where he was saying on set, whenever he was filming as one twin or the other, he would interact with the cast differently when they weren't filming. When he was playing the one brother, who was closer to Haley Steinfeld's character, he would talk to her more offset when he was playing him. But then when he was playing the other brother, he was a little bit more guarded and standoffish because of the two personalities.
Yep, that's true. And like I said, he does a good job of separating the two. There's a movie that came out, Autumn Nights, with Robert De Niro, where you play two characters, two twins, and that movie could have been more boring. You really couldn't tell the difference between the two.
Right.
And I love Robert De Niro, but that movie was boring as hell. And the box office showed. So, I hate that he worked his butt off to play two roles of a character that, you could tell the difference. You could easily tell. I was like, both of you guys are old. I see nothing.
Right.
So for Michael B. Jordan to do that was just amazing. Haley Steinfeld is great. I like that all the cast played a part in the movie. Delroy Lindo, who for some reason Delroy Lindo is an underrated old man in Hollywood, and that man never gets the credit he deserves for anything that does. Yeah, man, I love Delroy. Delroy's great. He's always a solid actor. He should have got an Oscar nod for the Five Bloods. That was on Spike Lee movie that came out on Netflix. He should have got an Oscar nod and should have got Best Supporting Actor long time ago.
Right.
But, yeah, man, this movie is just amazing from start to finish. I don't really have many critiques other than, like I said, the vampire stuff is pretty generic.
Mm-hmm.
As usual vampire stuff. Like I said, I feel like that was just something sprinkled in. You really didn't even need it because that's how good the film was. That's my review for it. I give it 10 star. I give it for 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 is what you give it?
Yeah, we'll give it 9 out of 10.
All right. Yeah, you know what? I agree mostly across the board with you. It was a very good film. You know what? Honestly, James, I did not notice the music because I was so enthralled with the story. I really didn't pick up on like the music or like what the soundtrack was. So I'm glad you did because I couldn't name a song that was featured in this.
Well, it wasn't anything that was really featured. It was just the blending of jazz, country, folk music, Irish music, Irish and Scottish music. That blend, and also Ryan Coogler said he got some inspiration from Metallica as well with the guitar riffs that were in there too. That was guitar riffs that were also in the music thing. He said he got that from Metallica. You know what?
I take it back. That was very silly of me to say that I didn't notice the music because much of the plot is centered around the music. The music presented in the movie itself was very good because it was plot centric. I was thinking like soundtrack. I was thinking like, oh, there's stuff I missed in the background, but it's been a morning. Again, I agree with you. I think it was a great film. The story was great. I think Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan did an excellent job of making this world feel lived in, more so where it's like there's so much lore and background and other things presented in this movie besides the main plot that really make it feel like these characters have a life off screen before you meet them.
Yep, you're right.
I guess it's kind of weird to state that because all films should feel like that. But some more generic movies just kind of feel like what you're watching is what you're getting. But this movie does a great job of making you kind of feel like there's more to these characters before and after this film. He does a good job of world building without actually showing, what they're building.
Yeah, he definitely does a good job at that. I feel like in all his movies, he does a good job of world building for the most part. It's hard to believe he's only did 5 films.
I know his filmography is so small, but it's so packed with like hits.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I didn't think about it beforehand, but a rated R movie coming out Easter weekend called Sinners is a huge gamble, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
So the fact that it's done so well and it's making like a good amount of money is phenomenal. It's great. I'm so glad to see an original movie make money off of premiering in the theaters. When we talked about it before, original content is kind of struggling, where if movies aren't making the money back fast enough, they're already ripped down and put on streaming before you know it. But it kind of seems like this is going to stick around for a while. And I've seen reports saying how like Ryan Coogler's deal with Warner Brothers is bad, but honestly, that's a fluff piece, because directors have done this years before, right? They write and direct a movie that they own, that it's their IP, and they sell it to the movie studios for however many years. I mean, it's been done before. It's not anything new.
And we talked about this. Yeah, we talked about this last week. This will be the first director to own his things on this movie after it's done after 25 years.
What I'm curious about, James, is obviously Warner Brothers is making some movie off of this. There's potentially a sequel around the corner. Do you want to see a sequel? Do you want to see more of this world? What do you want to see for the future of this franchise, if you want to see a future at all?
Well, I mean, I haven't really looked ahead that much into it like that, because I'm still reeling over this one movie, so it's kind of hard to say. If he's attached to it, I have no problem to it. I have no problems or objections. If him and Michael B are attached to it, I feel very good about it. Like I said, I don't really have like too much of an opinion about it, because I'm like I said, I'm still kind of reeling off just seeing this movie.
That's understandable. There's a lot to think about. I'm still thinking about this movie as well, plot wise, and
I'm pretty sure gonna watch it again. I'm definitely gonna watch it again eventually. It was just that good.
It's not really like an action-packed movie. It's more story-driven than anything. And then when the action happens, it's real quick. It's like you said, it's kind of like dusk till dawn, right? It's a slow burn until the third act, and then that's when everything kicks off, and then it just kind of ends quickly after that.
But the only difference between that and From Dusk Till Dawn was just totally two different films.
Right.
And it flipped at a rate that you wasn't ready for. With this, it was a slow burn, and it hit. It's like, oh, okay, it's vampires, but it didn't deviate, or it didn't feel like it was taking something away, or you just felt like you were just watching two totally different films. From Dusk Till Dawn, it was just ridiculous in its approach, because it went from being this disgusting criminal movie to this B-level, C-level vampire film filled of just erotic themes. And it just flipped on the axis. And you were taken somewhere where you were just like, I was on the verge of leaving. Now I'm staying because I want to laugh at how stupid this looks.
Agreed.
Yeah, so that's the only difference I would say between those two things. With this movie, it blends itself perfectly. It doesn't take a speed bump. It goes smoothly into the transition.
My opinion on seeing like a future of this franchise is I don't really want this to be franchised in a way. Like I really would love to just like, hey, this movie comes out, it's singular. We don't have to worry about a TV series or like following up or anything like that. However, I do feel like if they do want to continue the storyline, I think there is a great prequel with the two brothers. You bring Michael B. Jordan back as the brothers again, because they talk about, this isn't even a spoiler thing, but like they mention Chicago. They come home from Chicago to Mississippi to start a juke joint. And they keep talking about Chicago throughout this movie, and it alludes to how they got money or like how they did certain things. That I think there would be a great movie there as a prequel. It would be a different genre, right? It wouldn't be like a horror movie, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think you need to keep horror in this world that like Ryan Coogler has created. I think he's set it up to where you can go in a couple different directions if you want to continue it, or if you want to do a prequel. There's material there to work with. So I'd love to see a heist movie again with Michael B. Jordan coming back as Smoke and Stack, the two brothers. Because again, he did a phenomenal job. Both those characters are great. Both those characters were totally fleshed out. They felt like individual characters, even though you're watching the same actor play them. There's just enough mystery and intrigue there to like where I would want to see another movie with them. I don't really want to see a sequel per se. I don't need to see a sequel about what happens to the characters after this movie. I think the prequel to this is a lot more interesting than anything that could come afterwards. And even then, you could still use the prequel to set up the vampires for this original movie, Sinners, if you wanted to. But I'm not here to speculate entirely on what Ryan Coogler is going to do. That's just my 2 cents. Because obviously, if it makes enough money back, Warner Brothers does have it for 25 years. They will probably want to do a sequel or a TV series.
Maybe a TV series. Maybe.
Right, because that seems to be the more justification on whether a franchise is successful these days, is if they get a spin-off series versus a sequel movie. But whatever they decide to do, hopefully they keep Ryan Coogler involved because, again, phenomenal film.
Also, too, the actor that plays Sammy, who was the heart of the film, who's actually the heart.
The main character.
Yeah, he's actually the main character. You know, Michael B. Jordan's on the headlines and the posters, but the actor that plays Sammy, he's the one that played it. Most important part.
You kind of see it through his eyes. I think the whole story, you kind of see it through his eyes more so than Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan's there for the name. Sammy is the guy who plays Sammy, which I should look him up. We should stop calling him the guy who plays Sammy.
Yep.
Hold on. Miles Caton is his name.
He was great. Yeah. Yep. He was great.
Film. Great star of the show. I mean, he's pretty much the integral piece of the movie.
Yep, he is.
He's an aspiring blues player, and so the two brothers, Smoke and Stack, go to pick him up to play at their juke joint that they're setting up for the night. So he really is like the heart and soul and like middle piece of this film. Without Sammy as a character, you don't really have the same movie at all.
You really don't. The only thing you have is maybe like a twist at the end, because I hate to spoil some of it, but there's a twist at the end that, turns around. So that's the only thing that's really in there that's for really Smoke and Stack. Everything else is all about Sammy.
It's his story. Not to spoil too much, but you could almost do a sequel about him as well. So again, that goes back to how much lore and world building there has been done in this film to create a lived-in feeling world. What else can we say about this movie, James? What else? You didn't have any kind of negative feelings? Like there was nothing that was like, oh, I wish they would have done this better, or I wish they would have did this instead of that?
No, not really. Like I said, the only thing I really would just critique was maybe the vampire stuff. The vampire stuff was just
kind of middle of the road.
Yeah, middle of the road. Same vampire stuff we've always seen. It's not really any different.
They do try to create a little bit of lore with it because there's exposition at the beginning of this film. And it's right at the top, so it's not like anything you would miss ordinarily. But it's kind of exposition on, hey, I think blues music specifically, like if you play it really good, it can attract like the devil. Essentially, is the layman terms of what the exposition said. Like, hey, like blues music is so powerful that it can attract good and evil, and sometimes you got to be careful. That kind of sets up the premise or the reasoning as to why the vampires show up. Because they really do just kind of come out of nowhere.
They do. When it comes on the scene, it just pops out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't have too many negatives. There's like one or two things to where I think at some point in the film, it seems like they're going to introduce like a group of people hunting down the vampires, and then they just kind of like leave.
I know what scene you're talking about.
So I don't know what happened there. And again, this could just be kind of like a door left open for if you want to continue a story, that's another avenue you can go. That's another spin-off or a TV series you can choose to do. There's so many different bits and pieces that you could really spin off with this if you wanted to. And I don't want to keep going back to that. I'm just like off the top of my head, that's another thing you could do if Warner Brothers or Ryan Coogler wanted to do.
That is true, which I could see. I definitely could see. This could definitely be Warner Brothers' version of Blade. Maybe.
Oh man,
if they want to do it
maybe,
like that.
Maybe not. Maybe let's back it up, James. Let's not.
You never know.
Do we? Well, you know what? If Warner Brothers can pull off Blade before Marvel can, that'll be.
I mean, they pretty much did. It pretty much did. But this movie came out before Blade was even made. Because I remember when this movie was announced. This movie was announced 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. I think in total he's been working on it for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it's been in the works. I remember when this was coming down the pipeline.
It has made $55 million domestically, and it looks like it's going to do $75 million globally. This is also the first like full week it's been out, so I'm assuming it's going to do much more than that.
I think it's gonna do much more than that.
Yeah, the opening weekend it made 48 million so far. And that's just opening weekend.
If you ask Variety, they hate me.
Yeah, I saw something about that. Yeah.
So stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
It's kind of it's one of those scummy things that they're doing just to get like clicks, right? Like you write a crappy article about a movie that's doing successful and you get like the hate clicks and you get the hate shares and
It's trash.
yeah, I think it's one of those like reverse psychology things.
It's trash. It's complete trash. And like I said, this movie was amazing. I'm glad to see everyone's enjoying it. Happy for Warner Brothers because they definitely needed this, with the success of Minecraft and Sinners, so they definitely needed this. They definitely need this.
By the way, did you know Haley Steinfeld was like 1/12 or whatever black? Like that's a real
Yeah, I already
that was a real
know.
thing.
Yeah, no, that's real. Yeah, that's a real thing.
Yeah, that was interesting to learn. I thought they just like did it for the movie, and I was like, all right, that's kind of weird. And then a coworker of mine was actually telling me how, no, yeah, like her great grandfather or her grandfather is black, so she, genetically, she's got some blackness in her, and like this was kind of a movie where she got to, I guess, learn about some of her roots. She was saying, good for Haley Steinfeld on that. Good experience for her.
She was great. I love watching her act. All these guys, I totally enjoyed the film. I will see it again.
This movie had like a lot more sex than I thought was going to be in it.
Oh, definitely a lot of sex.
Very sexual. There's like 3 or 4 sex scenes. I am not exaggerating. There's like 3 or 4 like sex scenes in this film. So
if you're that kid that took your mom and wanted to see this movie, and you brought your mom and your dad, you definitely squeamish in your seat when you saw that. We saw a couple of those scenes.
one real negative I can draw from this film, James, is the fact that the trailers, not the first trailer, because the first trailer was a great teaser, but the subsequent trailers, very spoilerly, I was trying to play myself while watching the movie. I was trying to be like, well, maybe it's going to explain that, like, you know, this character who they show in the trailer is a vampire. Maybe they've been a vampire the whole time. Maybe they don't get, you know, I'm trying to like second guess myself so I can be a little bit surprised. But there's like 2 or 3 spoilers in the trailer that really kind of mess it up for the movie.
And that's marketing. You know, marketing did that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ryan Coogler had his way. He probably would never showed that. Sometimes
they don't get the decision, right? Because you send your movie to like a trailer house and then they just cut a trailer and what you get is what you get. Like Kingsman 2 had that problem, right? Kingsman 2, Colin Firth's character came back from the dead. It was supposed to be a big surprise. And then the trailer is like, hey, he's back. And a couple other things are going on. And yeah, I remember the director for Kingsman was like really upset about it.
A lot of times they do that because they trying to get the word out so that way drum up more anticipation for the film. But what they don't know is the more vague that you put a film, and as long as you show the trailer often, people will see it. If the more vague it is, the more surprises that it's in store for me. And then word of mouth turns out is like, oh man, I gotta see this movie because I didn't expect this. You know, stuff like Barbarian, like in Barbarian.
Oh yeah, Barbarian is totally different from what you see in the trailer.
It was just vague. And this new movie that's coming out, Weapons, you got this movie Weapons coming out. Him, Jordan Peele, Marlon Wayans and stuff. So I'm like, if you do that, so take for example, Superman. I know everyone wants to see another trailer for Superman. And I know everyone's being very bullish on trying to spoil it as much as they possibly can. We don't really need another trailer for Superman. Because you're going to watch the movie regardless anyway. They really got to stop doing that. They
either got to stop doing it or just start making shorter trailers. Because trailers are now like 2 or 3 minutes long sometimes. It's like just make short teasers, a series of short teasers that just generate enough interest to get the people in the movie. Like don't give us the entire plot in 2 minutes.
And you can't help but see it. Doesn't spoil. I mean, you can't help but see it because you got to go to the movie there and watch a certain film. So you're gonna get spoiled regardless. You know, unless you go in there like 10 minutes before the movie's over, before the movie starts, or 5 minutes before the movie starts.
But sometimes that's hard to gauge too, James, because the movie theaters don't always play the movies on time, and I know and understand why. But yeah, sometimes it's hard to even like dodge the trailers if you were trying to do that. You try to show up 5 minutes late, and then it's still in the trailers. So it just kind of depends on how far are you willing to go out of your way to avoid spoiler trailers, you know?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're 100% right.
That's kind of all my thoughts on Sinners. Again, phenomenal movie. Loved it. Enjoyed it. I'm very glad I went to the theaters to see it. You know, I don't go to the theaters often too much anymore, but when I do, like, I think the last few movies I've seen have been like top tier theater movies. So that's always great. Looking forward to seeing what happens with this franchise, if anything happens at all. I don't think it necessarily does. I would definitely be interested in seeing a Smoke and Stack prequel. I think that could be your biggest thing right there if they were to do it, but that's later down the road. Yeah, I mean, hey, that's all I got. That's all you got?
Yeah, I do want to point up this one quick point. I did see this little article about the Oscars now. They said they're going to start, because heaven forbid that we didn't know this, but they're going to start watching all the films that are nominated.
I saw that.
To win
and someone was like, you haven't been doing that already?
So it's like, so all this time, you motherfuckers have been doing that for years. And you just been putting movies on the ballot just because of namesake.
We're busy.
And the popularity?
Yeah. Well, movie studios are going to start looking at like influencers, I guess, for casting. Like they're going to start looking at people's follower.
Yeah, I saw.
I mean, you know what? We've always known it's a popularity contest, and I think it's every day or like every other month we're learning more and more about how much of a popularity contest it is versus how good a product is.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Sinners will get nominated for anything?
You know what? That's hard to say because, for one, it's a horror film. It's also an original story, but that might help it because don't they have like an original like category of some sort?
Original, yeah, best original adapted screenplay.
I could see it doing that. I don't know if it would get nominated for any other Oscar. It should. I mean, if anything, Michael B. Jordan should get something or at least a nomination for his acting.
Or at least get nominated for best adapted screenplay.
No, for sure. That one. Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Our musical category.
A lot of musical inspiration going on. Cinematography was really good. That could warrant something.
Costume designs. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, look, I think by the time this comes out, this is the first full week that it's been out. So obviously movie theater runs can range from like 2 weeks to 6 months. So we'll see how much more money it generates over its runtime. And this is a good success for Ryan Coogler. Not like he hasn't had successes, but this is another success for Ryan Coogler. And that's the more important part about this. If you want to contact us and talk to us about Sinners, you can email us at onthegopod2023@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. It's On The Go with Jacob and James. You can find me on Instagram at jacobdantone.audio, and you can find James on Instagram at
James9794.
And without further ado, I'm on the go, James is on the go, and we are all on the go.
Makes me feel so alive. Listen to those guys talk about anything and everything with my boner. My boner, my boner, my boner. Keep up the good work, me and my boner. I'm always gonna listen to you guys. Word to your mothers, your sisters.